Well, it looks like Samsung is taking advantage of the CES 2021 virtual event to launch one of their new Galaxy flagship phones. Typically, this happened in February, but now in January here, it's the new Galaxy S21, and they've got the three models. So, John, it looks like they're following the same playbook.
Yeah, for sure. Although it's some interesting developments with sort of the flagship phone too, which might mean they're going to be simplifying their product lineup a little bit.
So they have the S21, S21 Plus, and the S21 Ultra. And so what you're referring to, the S21 Ultra, you can get an optional case for it that has a built-in S Pen. What does
Yes.
that mean for the future?
Well, and yeah, I mean, for the future of the Note. But the interesting thing is you can actually use any S Pen that you have with the Ultra. So you don't have to buy the case and use that specific pen, which is a nice feature. They've actually teamed up with Wacom technology for that type of pen technology in the display. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the adoption rate is of that, because that was always sort of one of the selling points of the Note, having this ability to draw and annotate and sketch and do all those things. And they spent a lot of time on that specific product category, and it was very popular, I think, with a lot of creatives. People like to draw, take notes, that type of thing, and even content creators.
It's a beautiful design of the overall line there. They also are using Gorilla Glass Victus for protection and what they call an AL7 S10 metal frame as well. Beautiful looking phone, no question. The camera's always the big story with these particular phones. Let's go right to the Ultra. It's got a 108 megapixel main sensor, 12 megapixel wide angle sensor, 10 megapixel 3x optical zoom telephoto lens, and another 10 megapixel 10 times optical zoom telephoto lens. So I know a lot of gobbledygook there, but essentially this thing can take pictures.
Yeah, with having the dual telephoto lenses, they've increased the space zoom up to 100 times zoom using a sort of a combination of the optical and digital zoom technology that they have. And they've also made it so that you can actually have zoom lock. So you can actually lock in on a subject that's really far away. And they were actually using an example of being what looked like in Brooklyn and zooming into like downtown Manhattan on a building in the example that I saw. So it was a pretty, well, it's one of those things that we have to try to sort of see how it is, because the problem with these extremely long zooms is that it almost is impractical unless you're using it with a tripod.
Yeah, I am interested to try that out. I don't know how many times I would use 100 times zoom on that, but it was interesting also. And again, we've got to get our hands on this to really run it through its paces. But one of the things they were showing is the enhanced night mode as well, compared it to the previous model of the phone, the S20, and it looks like they've made some dramatic improvements there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're also, I think this is probably one of the first phones I've seen with the Wi-Fi 6E support coming into it as well, which is interesting. This is the new hyper fast Wi-Fi mode that is just starting to sort of trickle out now.
Yeah, and the 6E, again, for those who don't know, it is capable of using the 6 gigahertz band for from Wi-Fi routers that support that particular standard. So, I guess giving it a little more range, so to speak, as far as bandwidth and how far away you can be from the Wi-Fi router. The series, they all support 25 watt super fast charging, 15 watt fast wireless charging, and wireless power share. So nothing really surprising there.
No, no, they've added a few interesting new, or at least evolution of some of the software side, and going back to the cameras a little bit. They've got single take 2.0. So this allows you to take basically one shot, and you have a number of ways that you can sort of process that photo, everything from scene relighting. It'll pick best moment. You can even make a highlight reel from a period of time, and super dynamic slow motion as well. They've also added director's view, which is a multi-angle camera view, so you can actually look at multiple lenses at the same time and choose and switch back and forth between them, like you're switching a live TV show almost. They've also got an interesting a mode where you can have, it's called vlogger view. So imagine you're shooting a cute video of, say, your pet. Uh, you can actually record the front and the rear cameras at the same time, so you can actually capture your reaction to that video as it's unfolding.
Yeah, those are interesting. I like the single take mode. Again, it's kind of more of like you're taking a 10 to 15-second video
Yeah.
and it's getting all those photos out of it. But it kind of creates a cool collage, if you want, of the different takes and like a little video piece to it as well. So, I would actually like to see something like that on the Apple side, to be honest.
Hmm.
But
I think it'd be
I'm
very
sure.
I think it'll be very popular with people that use sort of these video compilations for things like Instagram stories, TikTok, and those kinds of things. I mean, they definitely are appealing to those content creator types on the social platforms. We should also mention too that they're shooting in 8K. These things, which is crazy. They have something called Video Snap. So it shoots video at 8K and allows you to take really high resolution photos at the same time. So that's pretty interesting. They have unlimited super steady video as well. Apparently it's very rock solid and compensates for any movements and that type of thing. They're also using 120 hertz smooth scrolling display, which we've seen before, but it's kind of like across the whole line of phones, not just on the Ultra side. They've got an enhanced portrait mode with AI as well, so you'll get that better thing. So one of the things that they sort of highlighted was the fact that you're going to get a proper, true like DSLR bokeh view of things, whereas some of the other software versions in the past, and even Apple was guilty of this too, is it tends to look a little computer processed as opposed to a true depth of field effect. And because they've got so many lenses now on these cameras, or so many cameras on these phones, they have the ability to have that sort of taking it from multiple angles, even if it's just on the same little camera array in the back.
Yeah, you talked about the 8K video. This is one of the first phones that I know of that can also take 4K video, but across all of the lenses, whether you're using the wide or the telephoto.
That was always frustrating too, because you sort of, everyone sort of gravitates to their favorite lens, but some of these other lenses on the previous models and other manufacturers, you couldn't use the full capability because of, either limitation or some other reason why you couldn't shoot in true 4K across all of them now. So that's going to be and that's across all of the S21 series.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, what the upgrade path will be for a lot of the folks out there. I mean, if you just bought an S20, are you going to upgrade to the S21? I don't know if there's enough features here for that to happen. I think if you had previous versions, it might be something to look at, especially if you're into photography or video work.
Yeah, and I think that goes with any upgrade. I mean, we talk about this all the time on the Apple side as well. It's like generally the camera is what's driving it, and the camera features, like we talked about all those different views and options with the cameras, those might be compelling, and it's unclear if some of those features are going to get backwards compatible to the older models as well, because it's, in some cases it's just a software update, but in other cases, like with the Ultra, it actually is utilizing a laser autofocus, for example, to do a lot of the sort of photo trickery, if you will, and so that wouldn't exist in the previous models. So it's still, I mean, it's a great time to be a camera enthusiast with a smartphone, no matter what platform you're on.
And just quickly to round it all off, they do have IP68, water resistance, waterproof rating on the Ultra model. And as far as battery, the Ultra has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and the S21 and S21 Plus have 4,000 and 4,800 milliamp hours respectively.
Yeah, so you'll be able to go all day on any of these phones, no question.
If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can make more great ones for you. And don't forget to hit the little bell icon as well. And leave some comments. We'd like to hear your feedback.